James Martins. I'm an accountant by training, and like many of you, I've been managing payroll processing in companies for much of my career.
James,
I've
you're
been
on
at
mute.
Sintra for about...
I can't hear you, James.
I definitely am not on mute. Admin, would you just check to see my levels are up? Admin indicates that they can hear me, L.
Can everyone else hear James? I can't hear James.
Admin can hear me, and I see in the messaging. Could you just check the messaging? Yes, I can hear you. I think it's you, L. Thank you. So welcome again. As I said, I've been with Sintra for about 3 years, and I know many of you on this call, having trained many of you on Sintra Cloud. Just a couple of admin items to start with. If you're having any technical issues with sound, it does happen, as we saw. Please do post a message in the chat, and one of the online tech team support members will respond to you. If at any time you can't see me or the slides or hear me, do post a message immediately, and again, one of my colleagues will advise me. Please do post any questions in the chat. We're hoping that the majority of this webinar will be Q&A, so please do start posting that in the chat now. My colleague Alistair Green, who you heard briefly at the beginning, will be reviewing the questions during the webinar, and Alistair will be presenting answers to as many questions as possible. Alistair is the product manager for Employee Hub, so we have a deep product expert with us today. And please, if your question isn't answered, we undertake to give you a personal reply via email after the webinar. There's also a poll running at the moment. Do respond to it. Your responses are totally anonymous, but you will be able to see the totals. And then at the end of the seminar, at the webinar, there's going to be a link for you to be able to ask for a call if you want to activate Employee Hub. Right, let's move into the presentation. So today I'm going to be providing a general overview of Employee Hub, including the holiday, sickness, and absence features. Just to remind you, Employee Hub is the Sintra Cloud portal for distribution of payslips and other documents to employees. The holiday, sickness, and absence module is an add-on to Employee Hub. I'll be sharing some high-level information about the module in the next 3 slides. Then I'll be doing a live demonstration of the holiday part, the setup, how the email notifications work, and we're also going to show you how Holiday works on a smart device, which Elle will do. This will all take 10 to 15 minutes. We really want to make this a Q&A session at the end, so please do start sending your messages and your questions now, and we will start developing the answers. Please don't wait for the end. Please do that now. So the holiday and absence module is a fully featured product. What do we mean by that? We believe it has all the features that we can think of to meet the needs for the majority of our payrolls. The module supports all device types. It works on a PC, a laptop, a tablet, a smartphone, and there is an app for both Android and Apple operating systems. The good news, it integrates into your Sintra payroll products. It works seamlessly with Sintra Cloud, and it automatically completes various payroll-related calculations such as occupational sick pay and statutory sick pay. It's intuitive and easy to use. You'll find that the screens are familiar to you. They are based on the latest user interface developments that you'll see on other services on the web. And most importantly, implementation is literally at the click of a mouse. We can have you active in minutes, and it then takes you about an hour to set up your schemes, etc. Holidays. You can record holidays in both hours and days, or a combination of both, by employee. Every booking or approval of holiday prompts an email alert for the person who must act on the request. A leave approver receives an email prompting them to go online and approve leave. And then the employee receives an email alert when leave is approved. Leave entitlements can be set up very quickly, and multiple leave schemes can be set up and applied to each employee as needed. The leave entitlements take into account working patterns that are set up on the payroll system, and they include adjusting individual employee entitlement days based on their full-time or FTE factor. The system handles bank holidays for all countries at an individual employee level. Exclusion sets can be added at an employee level. An example of an exclusion set could be a mandatory factory shutdown. Entitlements can be manually overridden at an employee level. So an example may be a once-off award of a leave day for winning a competition. Any override or change can only be done by the leave administrator. Annual carry forwards are also managed by the system, and they are based on your specific rules. So all leave must go through a system-based approval process, including cancellations. Every step of the process is recorded and managed, and there's an entire history to be able to be seen on each one. This makes holiday bookings a breeze. Sickness. Sickness is very easy to configure. It's via a set of easy to understand options which can be amended as needed, and you as the administrator can do this. Again, as I mentioned, records are integrated into the payroll automatically, and OSP and SSP payments are calculated and added to payroll seamlessly. Employees cannot input sickness. You can choose to devolve sickness input to managers or approvers, or you can manage it centrally as the administrator. In the latter case, the sickness administrator would be the only person authorized to input sickness. Please do note that you can have separate holiday and sickness administrators on the system, or they can be the same person. You're also able to control the visibility of sickness records for employees, so you can turn this on or off. We simply think it's the easiest way to manage sickness. So absence is everything that isn't holiday or sickness. Again, the absence category covers everything outside of holiday and sickness, and it follows a similar process to holiday requests. The employee makes the request, and the same approval process applies with the email alerts at each stage. The line manager approves the request. There are obviously no entitlements that apply to absence. There are also no payment or payroll consequences. So as an administrator, you can configure exactly what type of absence you need based on your specific requirements and rules. The system handles both hours and days. I'm now going to move to the live demo. This will take a couple of minutes. Just bear with me as I share that screen. I'm now sharing a screen that has Hello Caroline at the top. Could I confirm through admin that that is now visible, please? Thank you. Right, so now I am logged on as Caroline Browning. Caroline has all accesses in her role. So she's an employee, she's a payroll administrator, and she's a holiday and absence administrator. So first of all, I'm going to just show you what her screen looks like as an employee. So first of all, you'll see that there's a dashboard, and on this dashboard, Caroline can see all the information that she needs to be able to assess a couple of things. First of all, she's got a couple of leave requests. So she is a manager, and a couple of people have submitted requests for leave to be approved. She can also see her leave days for the month, She sees her entitlement and the number of days leave she has left. She can see that she's had 5 days approved. 1 day is still to be approved that she's requested. So let's now move into calendar. This opens up a screen which provides her with more information. It shows her entitlement. It also shows her sickness days that she's taken. Remember, you can turn this on or off. She can also see her month or the full year or her team. A lot of work has gone into this particular view, and as you can see, it's broken down with her name at the top, her team members, in other words, the people that report to the same person as her, and her subordinates. What's really useful here is from the screen, she can add sickness for individuals. If you've allowed managers to do that, she can also see leave requests currently in place that have a need to be approved. They are a circle that's not full. So right now she can see that Cindy's made an application for leave. She can click on that application. She can look at that application and she can make a decision as to whether she's going to approve it. Now, you'll notice that somebody else had actually put in leave for 4 days, and Cindy's asked for a day off if she could just have it, and she's made a decision that she's going to decline it, and she will indicate why and simply decline the request. In terms of Caroline making a leave request, when she makes a leave request, and as you can see, she has one unapproved leave request, to be able to get that approval, Manny, the manager, has to approve her leave. If Manny approves that, and we're going to watch Manny quickly approve that, just bear with me as I open Manny's screen. So now I'm looking at Manny, the manager. Manny the manager has one leave request from Caroline to approve. Manny approves it. Caroline receives an email saying to her that her leave has been approved. And now when she refreshes her screen, that leave will be approved. So as you can see, seamless process, everything managed within the system, no manual interventions apart from the requests and the approvals. Let's look at the admin hub now. So now I'm looking at the view that Caroline has as the administrator of both holiday and absence. It's a large payroll. It's now bringing up all the list of employees. So Caroline, as the administrator, can see all the employees. She can add specific types of leave to specific records if she wishes to. So as the administrator, she can do that. So if a manager's away, an approval needs to be done, or a leave request needs to be put in, the administrator is able to do that. It's a very simple process to set up the entitlements and the 6 schemes. I said to you about an hour. It's a very simple process of simply adding the types of holiday schemes, adding the exclusion sets, and then running the entitlements from whatever the start date of the entitlement period is. You can also download the information on the screen to do checking if you wish to. And most importantly, you have the option to be able to view exactly the current status of people's leave, who has leave pending, approved, and what is available. Very useful information, particularly for leave provisions, etc. In terms of managing absence, these are the simple question and answers to set up how sickness input is done, the visibility, what absent types you want to put on, and how your absence requests work. That concludes the demonstration on the web. I'll now hand over to Elle to do the smartphone presentation.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, James. James has done a very thorough demonstration and presentation there, so hopefully I can find something else to show you. Let me just share my screen. And then I need to share my phone. 1 second. Just wait for this to synchronize. Okay. Hopefully you're now seeing my mobile phone. Okay, so, right. We have a native app for iPhones and also an app for Android phones. I'm showing you the app that we have on an iPhone. If I click the button to log into the app, it'll do a facial recognition and bring me to the dashboard. So I've logged in here as Gary. As you can see from the dashboard, there's a red badge there against approval requests, and this is telling Gary that he's got some things to do. He's got 6 things to do, and they're in there, 6 holiday requests and absence requests. We've got buttons there to decline or approve those requests, or we can click in, we can view them and see a little bit more detail on each one. Click to view it, and again, having viewed it, I can see that Howard there wants to take a couple of days holiday because the boys are back in town. I can approve or decline that, or I can close it. As I scroll through the list, I can see that quite a few things are going on. Lots of people. Mark wants to take holiday. Robbie William wants to take holiday, all on the 20th of February. So I'm going to come back to that and dig into that and see a little bit in more detail what's going on. If I scroll a bit further down, here I get a summary calendar. This is a summary calendar showing me what my holiday and absence bookings are looking like. So I've got some turquoise squares there on the 3rd of February. If I click on those, that's an absence that I've got. So I'm learning to tango. And I can see I've got a green circle there on the 24th of February. That's a holiday request I've got. I can click on that, go into Blackpool to chill out. I can obviously navigate around this calendar. If I go into March, there are some green, solid green circles. That's a confirmed holiday booking. That's my holiday going to Torquay that I can see was approved by Elvis Presley only yesterday. So that's all good. I'm going to go back to February, and if I want to book myself a new holiday, there you go. I'm going to click on the 25th, holiday booking, very simple, annual leave and days on the 25th. I can add a note if I want to it. I'm going to wash my hair on that day and take the day off. There you go, request that holiday. And there you go, it's in the calendar with another green circle, and that has gone to my line manager to be approved or declined. Let me click the full calendar. So I clicked the full calendar so I can get more detail. Let me click on the year view, and now I can scroll through the months. January, there's February with my tango lessons, my 2 holiday requested, through into March with my approved holiday, and there's everything that I need to do. If I click the team view, it wears away, and we can see there's me at the top, Gary Barlow, with my holidays. Below is my team, the people, my colleagues. So Elvis, my manager, and Jerry Hannawell, my colleague who sits alongside me, and below that, my subordinates. So for this, I'm going to hide the team just so I can make this a bit more obvious. So now it's just me and my direct reports. I can scroll across and have a look, and I can see, yeah, all of my direct reports, Howard, Jason, Mark, and Robbie, they're all looking at going away and taking the same time off. I can drill into each one, have a look at it as I go through. Yeah, long weekend, meeting up with the gang. I'm getting a good idea of what these boys are up to. A weekender in Brighton with the boys for Robbie Williams. So I can look across, I can see, yeah, only Monday morning, Robbie was off sick with a bad case of shed head, and he's had some other days off. So call me a bad person, but I think the last thing in the world that Robbie needs is another long weekend. So I'm going to decline his request and say, no way, mate. And decline his holiday request. And there we go. He's not in the calendar anymore. Hopefully that gives you an idea of what the native app looks like. So I've done this on an iPhone. It looks very similar and works in exactly the same way on an Android phone. And indeed, if you don't want to use the native app is very simple and easy to install. You download it from the Google Play Store or from the Apple Store. If you don't want to use the native app, you can also use just your normal responsive web browser. So you can use Safari or Chrome or whatever on your mobile phone or device. Let me stop mirroring that screen, stop sharing my screen. And I think that brings us back to the question and answer session. So a number of questions have been raised. Let me go through some of those. I think we'll do this. Feel free to chip in, James. I will start the answering of questions, but correct me as I go along. So a number of people have asked if they can get a recording of this session. Yes, the session is recorded and will be sent to everyone who is in attendance. Next up, we had a question, does this integrate, does this whole system integrate with HR in the same way that self-service does? That's an interesting question. So at the back end of this, it's all one database. So whatever you're doing here is very much like the self-service. The holidays and sicknesses that you're creating are going into that same payroll database. If you're using HR, IntelliHR, that's quite a different thing, and quite separate to this. So really, it's this or IntelliHR. So although we're integrated into the same payroll database, you can't use this with IntelliHR. Hopefully that answers that question, but more than happy to come back and have a more detailed discussion on that. Next was a question about managers and can managers cancel holiday requests? Classic politician's answer, yes and no. So a manager can't cancel a holiday request, but there is the concept of administrators, and administrators can do, they can cancel, they can delete, they can book on behalf of employees, they can do absolutely everything. So managers themselves cannot cancel an employee's holiday. A question about sickness and what happens when sickness is added after the cutoff date. So, as is mentioned, if sickness is added to the system after the payroll has been locked for calculation and for processing, you will get the orange triangle on your SintraCloud payroll screens saying that there's been a significant change and a calculation is needed, but your payroll is then locked. So yes, that sickness record will not go into that pay period. It will go into the following period as a correction. So like everything within the payroll system, if you put data in that is post-dated, it will create a correction, and the following payslip will contain the corrected values. So the quick the simple answer to that question is what happens to sickness added after the cutoff? It's included in the following pay period. Next question, is it possible to have days and hours in your entitlements? Yes, so you can configure the whole system to use either days or hours or both. And so you'd give your employees an entitlement of 25 days a year or 100 hours a year, or you can give them 2 entitlements, some days and some hours. Next question, if sickness is added, does this appear in the payroll calendar? Yes, everything that you add here, once it's approved, appears in the payroll calendar. There is only one system. It's just 2 front doors, if you like. So everything that you add, everything that's created in Employee Hub is going into that payroll database. So every sickness that's created will appear in the calendar in payroll. Indeed, every holiday that is approved will appear in that calendar. Every absence that's approved will appear in that calendar. Next question about customization and can you change the names of terms? Can you rename subordinates? No, you can't rename that, although we have had a number of comments and we are aware that subordinates, or the term subordinate, is not a particularly friendly name. So we would love to hear your suggestions as to what we could call subordinates, the term that we could use, which would be friendlier and better than subordinates. Let me scroll through the questions now and find out the next lot of questions. Just one second. Does the system automatically add additional holiday days to match years of service? Yes, that's a sickness scheme. You can create sickness schemes with rules for additional holiday for service, additional holiday for particular positions. There's lots of flexibility there. Overtime sheets that you currently process in self-service, can you process those in Employee Hub? Sadly, you can't. We don't yet have timesheets in Employee Hub. When sickness is added, does it recalculate and add statutory sick pay? Yes, it will. So if you have whatever occupational sick schemes you have in place will be honoured by the system. So if you have no occupational sick schemes, the sick will create statutory sick pay. If you have a sick scheme, it will invoke the rules of your sick scheme. Is it possible to see a non-manager view? And probably best, we can show you the admin view. Probably best if we take that offline. We'll arrange a call with yourselves and show you the admin screens and whatnot. Can this integrate with a time and attendance system? We don't have any out-of-the-box integrations with time and attendance systems at present. Does the system replace self-service? Yes, it does. So if you're using holiday sickness, absence, pay slips in self-service, this is a replacement for that, and we would love to talk to you about that. When is Cintra acquiring or developing a time and attendance system? That is a question that is slightly beyond my pay grade. We are in acquisition phase at the moment. I don't know if we are currently looking at time and attendance providers. Can holiday be in hours? Yes, we've not shown that explicitly in this demonstration. You can have an entitlement in hours broken down to 15-minute blocks, and then you can request holidays in those 15-minute blocks, and they're approved in 15-minute blocks. Yeah, substitute days for hours. It all works exactly the same. Does the system prorate holidays according to FTE? Yes, it absolutely 100% does. So that's all calculated automatically, magically, depending upon the employee's FTE. You set up your holiday scheme with the entitlement for a full-time person, and then that is prorated first for the FTE of the individual employee, and secondly for when that employee joins. So if you get new starters joining partway through the year, they'll get part of the entitlement. Does the system calculate holidays as statutory 20 days plus bank holidays, or can it calculate 20 days plus bank holidays? Yes, so you can create as many schemes as you like. We have also what we're calling exclusions. That's their non-working days. Those non-working days are things like bank holidays. Those are the statutory non-working days. You can add as many factory shutdowns, office shutdowns, or days that are specific to your organization. And those will be on top of the entitlement, and then the calculation will, for those people whose work pattern doesn't include the bank holidays, there'll be a that's taken into consideration. So all of that complex logic about what the entitlement should be is all calculated automatically. The questions are coming in faster than I can answer them, and I'm talking as quickly as I possibly can. Right.
Shall I give you a rest for a little while, Al?
Okay.
Will this system be rolled out to all customers automatically, or do we have to pay for holiday absence separately? So it is something that you do pay for separately. We're not going to roll it out automatically. Obviously, you will have to indicate that you want to take it. API to other platforms, and is SSO available? I'm going to let Al tell you about that, because this is very exciting.
Okay, so all of our systems are built on APIs. So there is an API that's used to implement this whole system. This API, it's an internal one. We haven't yet exposed it to customers. So that's a yes and no, really. Is SSO available? That's a very late breaking. So we have SSO, single sign-on. That's up our sleeve. We haven't released that. It is developed. We're using it. We're testing it internally. For those in the know or not in the know, SSO is all about, primarily it's using your Windows login or password, so that if you're using this from within your Office network, you simply browse to Syntra.cloud and you'll be automatically logged in. You won't need to put in a username or password. Yeah, watch this space, that is coming. Another exciting feature that is also coming is passkeys. You may have seen that, particularly on your mobile phone with other applications. A passkey is a passwordless way of logging in, typically by scanning your face. So that is coming both for, and we have that, that's about literally with hours, if not days away, from days, if not hours away from releasing that. That's available for your phone and your tablet, but also passkeys will work on your desktop, on your laptop. A very secure, passwordless way of logging into these systems. Is there a return to work facility for sickness absence? We don't have a return to work for sickness yet. No, we don't. Can you add loyalty days to the holiday entitlement? There's a number of different ways that you can do that. You could do that through the holiday scheme. or you could make it an additional entitlement. So give people 2 entitlements. You can give people as many entitlements as you want. So you could do it that way. For the Bureau, can clients set up and manage their own scheme rules? Yes, they can. So there's through Admin Hub, there are pages and links to set those up. It's all very straightforward, very easy to use. Is there an option to add extra days to core holiday allowance, like holiday buy, for example? Yeah, so probably the easiest way of doing that would be to have a standard holiday scheme and then a bought scheme, and then you give the additional scheme, the bought scheme, to those employees who actually bought it. There's a question about what is the time frame for phasing out self-service. So we don't have a time frame. We're not counting down the days to switch off self-service. We believe that Employee Hub is a better system. We like to move as many customers over to Employee Hub as we can, but we haven't set a time frame for switching off employee self-service. Integration for payroll companies to administer their own schemes. So within Employee Hub, you could administer your own holiday schemes. There isn't an interface yet to administer sickness schemes, so that would need to be done through payroll. Yeah, is there continued support development for Sintra Self-Service? There's ongoing. There's 2 teams that support self-service. It's a fully supported product. It's one of our products. We're still selling it. It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I can get that last question for you, Al.
Yep.
Integration with Sintra Groups. And thank you for the question. And we'll definitely talk about this. In terms of integration with Sintra Groups, the holiday scheme, etc., is a separate system altogether. Groups does a different function, but all of the features you see here are able to be deployed and down to the client level. So yes, certainly those clients that are in groups would be able to utilize the system and do it.
Will Employee Hub replace IQ? So IQ is the payroll engine. That's the heart, the beating heart of our system. So it sits alongside IQ. It's not going to replace it.
Al, the questions have stopped. I think it's the first time we've ever got through every question, and I'm very pleased. Thank you so much, Al. It's been brilliant.
Okay.
We are 9 minutes over, and thank you very much to everybody who joined today. I really appreciate your time. And as I said, you will be getting any questions we didn't answer. We'll double check. If we didn't, we will respond to that to you personally. Thank you for your time, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.